Hey everyone, make sure you stay tuned to this podcast because we're going to talk about the last week in gaming, including the new Switch and the new FIFA. Stay tuned.
Streamcast.
Hello and welcome everyone to the Streamcast. My name is Brexit Blackamura and it didn't come home. And I'm joined by...
My name seems very conservative in comparison. Tanjiro. I'm just Tanjiro. Whoa! Could have warned me you were coming in with such a bomb. I would have picked a better name.
You know what I'm about.
All right, okay.
And on this podcast, we're going to go straight into it. We're going to talk about the biggest piece of news over the last week. The new Switch OLED. It's not quite a Pro, so I don't know how I feel about this. I don't know whether this is meant to be a good thing or not, because I don't think there's that much difference.
No, I mean, is it really the biggest piece of news from last week? Are you sure?
Gaming news, yeah.
All right. Slim pickings, isn't it?
The barrel is scraped. It's scraped dry, man. When it was announced, it did cause a lot of traffic. A lot of people got excited because it's Nintendo. It's a new console. Yeah. Anytime Nintendo do anything, people are excited. And then after a couple of days, people start to settle down and like deep the facts. We're basically being sold the same console again for even more money.
Yep.
So the standard Switch is about 6.2 inches. A standard LCD screen. We're going to get a 7-inch OLED screen with this new model, a wider kickstand, new built-in speakers, a LAN port in the dock, and 64 gigabytes internal storage, which is double the standard size. The only two things that I recognize as being any different are the storage and the screen size. That is going to appeal to anyone. I don't think that this justifies anything. Like, even with the 3DS and other versions of different consoles, there has been a genuine justifiable reason for them to exist. Like the SP, for example, the 3DS, as I aforementioned, fundamentally different. There is nothing fundamentally different about this Switch OLED apart from the type of screen it is. And it doesn't... Sorry, go on.
I was just going to say, I mean, you did mention that they add a new LAN port, but they also remove a USB port, if that helps. Just going to throw that in there.
So not only have they not improved the original Switch, they've made it worse. What?
Just
okay.
Bad.
Good. What are your thoughts, Isaac?
I mean, if someone who had never owned a Switch before wanted to get into it, I think this is the way to go. The white is really nice. I think it will, fit in any like modern apartment. Especially if you want to give more of like an adult vibe, like if you want a more like monochrome color palette. If you really enjoy handheld gaming, then this is great. It's got a clearer screen. It's a little bit bigger, and then you don't have to buy a LAN port. That's all I got. That's it. Because you're right. Honestly, they've done nothing, and a lot of people wanted it to be like 4K. But it's not. It's still the same, like 1080p when docked. Honestly, there's not much to say. There's literally not much to say about it.
Yeah, I hear you. I hear you loud and clear. If it sounds like we're struggling to talk about this topic, it's because this topic is a struggle. So first of all, I'm confused as to why Nintendo didn't even announce this during E3. Maybe this was a point by Nintendo, but surely it would make more sense to announce this in your E3 presentation. Maybe the cynic is thinking, we don't need E3 to announce it, so we just did it on a random Tuesday or whatever.
Mm.
But other than that, this new version of the Switch still doesn't have Bluetooth. It's a handheld console that doesn't have Bluetooth. Why? Why? What am I going to connect my AirPods to? Like, they're not asking the real questions and they're not making the real changes that people want. You've got to give the people what they want, and they haven't.
Because honestly, like, the way I'm looking at it is the base Switch is the Switch that you kind of built. It's got the bare minimum functionality. So if you want to have a better online experience, you get a LAN adapter. If you want to have more storage, you get your extended storage. If you want a better sound experience, you get your USB jack and you plug it in. I don't know if it's got a space. You might have to use the little port underneath, but there's probably an adapter that you can use. For me, like, now that this has come out, like, I thought the original Switch was meant to be like, the base model where it's just accessible now, because even the price of that has gone down. I think you can get one for like $270 now. It's not a lot, but £30 could be, a new game. So, like, don't look it in the face. This seemed like their chance to really like make a difference. So everything that might have been wrong or missing in the old Switch, like, put it in and then make it better. And they haven't done that. I don't know why. They've really, for me personally, I think they've dropped the ball here. Because no one's excited.
Yeah, agreed.
It doesn't change.
Weird. Sorry,
continue. I was gonna say it doesn't change your experience unless you are, playing like handheld. And I don't know about you, but I never want to play my Switch like in a park with some friends, just on a table. I would rather have them at my place, because if some dickhead comes along and kicks a ball at my Switch and it breaks my Switch, it's now a whole thing, because I can either be like super angry and aggro and aggressive, and they're just going to want to, run away and not do anything. I can be civil and be like, okay, you've broken my Switch. How are we going to do this? Are we going to exchange bank details, whatever? And they might just, they might not be up for that. Like, they might take the piss. Am I going to go to small claims court for, like, is it really worth all that hassle and trouble? Because at the end of the day, it's like £270 is a lot of money, but if I got to hire like a lawyer or something, or like take some time off work to do this, you know what? Here's the situation, yeah. I either have to just really put my foot down and they're not an absolute dickhead, or I've got to take an L. I ain't doing that. My Switch stays at home in its dock. That's where I play it. They have given me no incentive to change this. So yeah, I don't want this console. Sorry, what were your thoughts? You were about to say something and I went on a ramble.
I can't remember now, but I
do apologize.
It's all right. I do know that I agree with you. I have no intention of playing my Switch handheld anymore. I will either play with friends at my place or online. I mean, it is good if you're going out somewhere, like you've booked a place and you and your friends are going there and you're having games night or something. Everyone can bring their Switches and, it's all a laugh. That's different.
Yeah.
But as you said, going to a park or on a commute or at a restaurant or something, I don't see myself doing that anymore. And because of that, I don't see myself even flinching to get this OLED. I don't know what to tell anyone, and I don't know why anyone would buy it unless you don't already have a Switch.
Do the same thing, play the same games. It's still going to be 720 when undocked.
Same Joy-Cons, which means same drift. So they haven't fixed the real problems that people have been complaining about, the actual consumers, the actual customers who actually spent money on your goods and have said, hey, we really love this piece of kit, but there's this issue going on with it. They haven't fixed that. They were like, here's a new fresh coat of paint. That's a problem. That is a big problem. And it's an even bigger problem when you find out it's meant to be going out for $349.99. I don't know how much that is in pounds. I'd guess around 300, but
I reckon we're still going to get the same. I think they're going to do the thing where it's the same in US and pounds anyways. They're just gonna
They
do that.
they can't do that. They
I think that's what's gonna happen, mate.
oh.
No, genuinely, I think that's gonna happen.
I think they will go 320 in GBP.
Okay. No, if you say so.
I'm not getting it. and if you have a Switch already, I advise you not to get it. So
no, unless you love playing in handheld mode, I don't think there's a point. And if you do love playing in handheld mode, like maybe just get the Lite. It'll be cheaper. And if you're gonna mostly play in handheld mode, then it looks better. Like genuinely, I saw the Lite and I was like, oh, I don't need or want this, but I wouldn't mind having it because it does look really nice. But yeah, I don't see the point of this new console. People will buy it though, guaranteed.
Of course,
Yeah.
I'm convinced now that the Switch is going to outsell the PS4 now because of this. People will buy it and then realize in 3 months' time that they don't need it, nor will they use it. But people will buy it because it's a new thing to have. It's like when Apple released a new iPhone every few years. People just believe that they have to have it, so they buy it.
Yeah.
I agree with your point. The Switch Lite is actually an alternative to the Switch because it's handheld exclusive. It's a different version of the Switch, and I can understand why people would get a Lite and a regular Switch. I don't understand why people would get an OLED Switch when you already have the OG Switch. That's just me, though.
I mean, if I had an extra £300 lying about that I didn't care about, yeah, why not? I'll get another one. No, who cares? But it does the job, so I'm alright.
Yeah. Maybe we're out of touch though. So if you are listening or watching this podcast, please drop a comment. Let us know on Twitter or Instagram, Streamcast_ what your thoughts are on the new Switch OLED. Will you be getting one? Also, last week we got a state of play. What are your thoughts on the state of play? Did you watch it?
I thought it was really good. I made notes on a couple of games that I quite liked. So I'll start with Sifu. Actually, I don't think we saw a lot more, but I didn't even give us an actual release date. It just said early 2022. It was nice to see Sifu again. I was already excited for this game, and we saw more of it. So I guess that just shows that they're still working on it. We're gonna get it eventually. It was good seeing more Demon Slayer. I think it's basically gonna play exactly like the Ninja Storm series from the extra bits we saw. And it just got me thinking. Like when I was younger, I loved the Ninja Storm series because it allowed me to replay the anime scene for scene,
Yeah.
and I loved that. But now I'm not in that same mindset. I don't want to. And I think it's because of all the Naruto games and the Dragon Ball Z games where you play that story over and over and it's yeah, I get to do the same thing over again. And I think about it now and I'm like, I don't want to do the same thing over again. That's a time sink.
Yeah.
I've really watched it, and watching it is less effort than actually playing the game. So instead of being able to sit down with my favorite meal and watch Demon Slayer, I now have to play it. No. I've already done this. But no, it looks pretty cool. And I guess if the fighting the 2-player fight mode is good, I think I'll pick it up. I think I'll 100% pick it up. There are some other games, but I'll let you take over for a bit because I don't want to waffle on too long. I'll waffle on all day.
Okay, I will echo your point. Sifu was, as still is, the game that I'm most excited about when it comes to the games announced during the state of play, apart from Deathloop, of course. But maybe even more so just because it's a kung fu game, and that's just something that I grew up on. I watched kung fu movies growing up, and it really takes me back to that time. So I'm quite looking forward to recreating some of those scenes and just having fun. I kind of forgot it was meant to be coming out this year. So when they said 2022, I was like, oh, okay. And then everyone on Twitter was like, oh, they pushed it back. Blah, 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 blah. It's yeah. So when I realized that I was a bit gutted, but I would much rather wait till the new year and get like a fully polished, complete game than get a rushed mess.
I do agree. I will say they did something pretty cheeky. So like, there's the mechanic where every time you die, you age. And that just shows that you're a better country, you're a bit more wiser and all that. They had a little countdown for all the deaths. And then when they did the release date in the same UI as the countdown for the deaths, they put 2021 and then it went down again to 2022. And I was like, you fuckers. I do the same. It was very trolly, but no, I thought it was a nice little touch. Actually, no, I don't, because it's coming out later. Either for troll's sake, I thought that was a great touch. Everything else, I hate them for it. Because I want to play this game. I want it in my hands right now. But I'll let you continue.
Apparently, Absolver is the prequel to that game, so that's something you can try now. You can download it from the PlayStation Store if you're interested in such game.
Oh, it's got a 7 out of 10 on Steam. Nice.
Oh, that's a good sign.
100%.
You gotta check that Metacritic rating though. Check that Metacritic.
Do I trust Metacritic though? I don't know.
But on to your point about Demon Slayer, I am not sold on it because we are in an age of Netflix anime. And then by that, I mean seasonal anime where you get an anime for 10 or maybe 25 episodes, and then it just goes on cooldown for like a year or two. As opposed to when we were growing up, we used to get anime episodes on a weekly or sometimes on a daily, and we'd get breaks after seasons, but it would feel different. Those seasons would be like maybe 50 episodes long. So I don't know if there's been enough of Demon Slayer for me to be as excited for this game as I would be a Naruto game. It does look like your standard CyberConnect 2 game. Sega's publishing it, so I'm pretty sure it's going to be a good game. If I do end up getting it, I'm using the Japanese voice track because that was the first time I heard the English voices, and it just didn't work for me. So I'm a dub apologist, so because of Dragon Ball Z, I watched a lot of anime in dub just because I felt like that was the way. And it wasn't until One Piece that I switched to listening in the Japanese version. So yeah, listening to Demon Slayer in English was a bit uncomfortable. Some anime still know how to do it right. Like I'd say My Hero Academia does a good job of a dub. But other than that, mostly we want that original Japanese voice cast. And that's what I'll be using. What was your favorite thing from the State of Play announcement? That, unless it was something that you already talked about.
Deathloop. I think it's still Deathloop. It just looks fun. Like I know they went over like certain new. I think they walked you through like a mission. It was a new mission. It was a new person to kill. But I've been watching Deathloop, and like every time I watch it, I'm like, this seems so familiar. This seems so familiar. This seems so familiar. I may have spoken about it before, but like it was made by Arcane, and they're the same people behind Dishonored, and I was like, that's it. Because I think like there was one part where you just toss someone in the air and you throw them off a cliff, and I was like, that's just fun. Like just that little interaction, I find that a lot of fun. And it's just little things like that are making me really excited to play this game. Like the guns look, again, like a lot of fun. The way that the sort of spoiler alert for the game, the first boss was killed. Like there's this weird club, and all the people in this club, they have to go on stage and talk about why they're like so like evil or why they're such deviants. And if everyone agrees, like, oh yeah, this guy's up there, he's terrible, then he's allowed to live. But if he's not, then they open a trap door and then they die. And yeah, you know, and then your target gets on stage and like they were like, don't kill him just yet, just have a look to see if this is the guy. And then the guy on stage was talking and he was really cocky, he was really arrogant, he was really full of himself. And then the narrator was like, yeah, this is our guy. And then you kill him. And just little things like that. Like it seems like there's a bit of personality to this game. And like, you know, the whole like, you know, time loop and all that, blah, blah, blah. For me personally, I found out that Julianne was one of the 8 people you have to kill. Didn't know this. I thought there were 8 people, and then she's just like been hired by them to just annoy you
Yeah.
throughout the whole game. So that was new to me as well. And yeah, every time I hear more from this game, I'm just like, yeah, I'm into it. I want to play it. But best of all, I don't have to get it yet. Do you know why? Because I want to play Dishonored 1 and 2 because I haven't played them yet. It feels like I need to play those games and then I can play Deathloop. So I can wait until September. I'm not chomping at the bit for this game. I can wait. There's stuff to keep me. But yeah, Deathloop. I loved what I saw.
Are you going to be playing Dishonored 1 and 2 over the summer?
I'm going to try to. I'm probably going to play one chapter, and that's as far as I'm going to get. Like, you know, when you say to yourself, I'm definitely going to play this game, and then 2 years later, it's still on your shelf.
Yep.
Yeah, I'm going to try and play it, but I don't see it happening. What about yourself? What was your favorite part?
I did like the Death Stranding announcement, but I'm not going to play that. So, moving on. Deathloop.
What did you like about Death Stranding? Go on, tell me.
The visuals.
That's PS5.
So, Deathloop. Deathloop. Deathloop was my favorite bit just because it gave us a little bit more than what we knew before that point, which is really what a showcase is meant to do. It's meant to get you more excited for a game. It's meant to add to information that you already have as, you know, a consumer, as an individual. And I think they did that. They went into certain powers that you can use and collect. And I really like that. There's a lot of skills that I think I can see myself trying to get. And I think definitely it's going to be very fun. It looks like it's going to be a very creative game in how you kill your enemies. And yeah, I can't wait to get my hands on it. It seems like it's going to be very wacky and a game that doesn't take itself too seriously. Like, it's got a story, but it's going to allow for, you know, humor. And I like that. I like stuff like that.
No, it's fair enough. Like, I completely agree. I think there's going to be a lot of humor to it. And the fact that when you play, to get certain like hints and tips, you've got to like listen to what the goons are saying, because that can help you like plan your mission, which means they're going to squeeze in some humor there. Like, they have to. No one wants to listen to some boring conversation about, I don't know, like, I was doing my boss's taxes and like, here's the none of that.
Yeah.
And I think another thing, so there's one thing I was thinking about. So like, a music plays when Juliana comes along and she tries to kill you, and that can be another character. So the fact that one of the bosses you have to kill is going to be another character, is that going to cause problems? Because let's say the person playing Juliana is really skilled and really experienced, they're just going to pick off new players, and vice versa. If Colt is really skilled and experienced, then a new Juliana is not going to stand a chance. So then my question becomes, is this going to be a game that like you need to play with online functionality, or can you just like go offline mode all the time and it won't change your experience? Because if so, then fair enough. But otherwise, I can see people getting annoyed. Which also leads me to another question. I think, well, not a question, it's a statement. I think this game's going to have a lot of replayability, because once you've like done all 8 bosses and you've got all your power-ups and all that good stuff, I'm sure you can like just run through the game in a couple of hours probably, which goes back into my other point. Like, pro players, is there going to be a lobby where like people have like, will they be able to like separate the lobbies to people who are really good at this game and want to just like the Colts and Julianas fight each other? Or is it going to be a case where, you know, newer players won't be paired up with those like much better players? Because that's the campaign. You can't ruin the campaign. Like,
Yeah.
Now, what are your thoughts?
I think that's a lot of good questions. I obviously don't know the answer to these, but I think that is probably the best way to go down. I think you do want the option of just offline play. It's just you and the story, and Juliana's controlled by CPU. And if people want to have invading Julianas, they can. I think that's a great move. I think that's a great idea. I also believe that there should be some sort of balancing act. So if you are new to the game of Deathloop, you shouldn't be up against a Juliana who's already played the game for 50 hours, and vice versa. If you're an experienced Colt, you should have an experienced Juliana to face off against. I think they should do stuff like that. I don't think that's impossible. I don't think that's in the outside the realms of possibility to do. So I really think Arcane and Bethesda should really implement those. And I hope we get more information because September isn't too far away. It's only 2 months away at this point. So I really hope we start getting some information about how the game is actually going to work.
Yeah, that'd be nice because I don't. You know, in Dark Souls, yeah, when like you're playing and you just because you get to the boss and then someone invades you and then they just take you out and you got to do all that again to get back to the boss.
Yep.
And get your souls back.
Yeah.
I'll be so pissed.
Yes. I think if it is going to be that kind of game, they need to be honest about that because that can be off-putting. Not everyone wants that kind of experience, and that's fine. I do think an experience like that could get people, just rage quitting, dropping the game early, returning it. I do think they have to be careful and choose a side and stick with it and just be honest. People will still buy the game. People will make their own minds up, and if it's an informed decision, then it's even better for all parties.
Okay, fair. I think the fact that you can resurrect as Cole if you've got certain abilities does make it easier. But
yeah.
Okay.
I forgot the name of the ability, but that's the one I really want. The one that's like, quick time revive, not like go back to the last checkpoint revive. I want that.
Just reverses time a little bit, like Prince style.
Yeah, I want that.
Pretty good. That was the. Anything else to say about the state of play?
I wasn't that impressed with it overall. I thought it was quite sloppy. I thought it was quite average, actually. Yeah, to be honest, I thought it was not the worst one they've done, but I think it is the worst that they've done since they've been doing single showcase state of plays.
Yeah.
Just because I think the way they advertised it made it seem like it was going to be a Deathloop focused state of play. And that might have been my bad. That might have been their bad. But I think something was lost in communication. And because of that, it kind of felt like we got a lot of filler. And then we got Deathloop and we got like 10 minutes of Deathloop, which is not the best. I think there are better ways to communicate that you're going in a state of play with X amount of minutes approximately allocated to this game that we know you're interested in. And the rest of the time is going to be on other games. I think this is all about communication. Twitter has more than 140 characters, and I don't think there's a limit on Instagram, so there isn't really that excuse. I think clearer communication was needed.
Yeah, no, I agree, because I honestly thought it was going to be a Deathloop presentation. So when I was seeing all these other games, I skipped ahead because I think there was like a little countdown to when it goes live, but I was watching it after the show, so like I just skipped all the way to what I thought was like the Deathloop bit, but then I saw Demon Slayer, so I stuck around for that. And then when I finished it, like I went back to the start for some reason, and there was even more stuff there, so I was just very ill prepared for this. And it was a bit of a letdown because it would have been nice to get that 30 minutes of Deathloop, which is what I was expecting. But I guess I like you said, either miscommunication on their part or my part. But I don't know. I think Sony are pretty good with it because I think there was a disclaimer and it said something like, there won't be this big game, there won't be this big game, there won't be that big game. And it was managing people's expectations. They were like, nah, you don't get to be salty online. And for the most part, I think it's worked because no one's getting salty that there's no, God of War or anything like that. No one's kicking up a fuss. You were told these games weren't going to be there. And even Nintendo do something similar at their directs. If they're going to do an indie one, it's just only the indie games. Don't be expecting no Breath of the Wild or any big games that you're excited. No, it's just indie games. I think it's really cool that they've done that. And again, it shows sorry to E3, but it shows that it's just a better medium to let people know what's happening. Because at E3 you'd have this super long wait, and you wouldn't really know what's happening, and then you'd have to just you're just open to speculation. But here, there's no speculation. It's going to be, under an hour. We're going to give you this, and this. It's definitely not going to be these. But you know, as long as it fits a certain category, it might be there. And yeah, it's quite refreshing to get your games news that way, and you get it more often, which is nice because maybe this one was disappointing, the state of play. Maybe it could have been more, but like we'll get another one, and that one might be good. And even if it's not great, there might be one or two games that we want to see there, and it's like, okay, great, I've got this information, let's move on. So yeah, no offense to E3, but the little mediocre state of play is much better than a massive E3 once a year, in my opinion. This is better.
I'd agree with that wholeheartedly. And yeah, everything we've just said kind of illustrates the point that we were making in our previous podcast, that we just don't need E3. But what do the people want? The people want another FIFA. FIFA 22 has been announced to come out for the 1st of October on every console, basically. If it can run games, it can probably run FIFA 22. Kylian Mbappe graces the cover once again. And we've got some news that essentially this is going to be running on an entirely new engine called Hypermotion, I believe.
Okay. That's pretty cool, I think.
Any thoughts, Isaac? Because I know that you're a casual player of FIFA, you do enjoy it, but it's not your favorite game.
Yeah, I'll put it this way. When like me and some mates go to play it, they've got FIFA 20. I think 21's the latest one. We haven't noticed. We don't care. We're there for vibes. That's it. Like I don't know. I just put ball in net. Does it look good? Yeah, all right, fair enough. That'll do. And honestly, like every time I've said this so many, every time new FIFA comes out, everyone gets it. Everyone complains. Everyone bonds over the complaining. Everyone forgets it, and then they play the game, and then the cycle repeats. I'm used to this now, and I think that's what's going to happen again. I don't know if you play. I don't know if you play the Volta at all. Maybe some people do like it. Fair enough.
Nope.
People I know who have the game don't really talk about Volta, but maybe that's just me in a bubble. So I don't know. But yeah, let's see what they do. I mean, as long as they've got kickoff,
Yeah.
you know, have some mates like ball in net, I think it'll be fine. People are gonna buy it. It's gonna be made for. Oh, actually, I was gonna say it was made for the PS5, but it's gonna be made for all consoles because you said it's gonna be everywhere. I guess maybe it'll look shinier on the PS5. It's FIFA. Put the ball in the net. That's what it says on the tin, really. But I'll let you, a more seasoned FIFA player, what are your thoughts on it?
Well, this is just a personal gripe. This doesn't really mean anything. I have an issue with back-to-back cover stars. I think the spotlight should be shared because of how many successful top-level players there are. I don't think Mbappe had the greatest of seasons, and he certainly didn't have the greatest of European campaigns. So I disagree with the desire to have him on the cover again. I don't like it.
Second cover in the row.
Yeah, second in a row.
Oh, okay. Huh.
If he wasn't on last year's, I wouldn't have minded if he was on this year's. But because he was, I don't like it. I personally feel there are more important players, there are bigger players who had better domestic and European seasons. And I mean, personally, I would have loved to have seen Raheem Sterling on the cover, and you know, people can say stuff about global appeal and that, but I do believe that the Premier League is the most watched league in the world. I do believe that people around the world know who Marcus Rashford and Raheem Sterling are. So, and FIFA sells itself. FIFA doesn't need a cover star. The cover star doesn't make FIFA. FIFA makes the cover star. People are going to buy that game regardless, which is why ultimately my point is just a personal grievance. And it's not like, oh, this game's going to be awful. It's just, I think a little bit more thought could have been put into this. Like, there are fans who are casuals, and there's completely nothing wrong with that. And then there are more hardcore fans, and again, that's completely fine. And I'm one of those weird particular people who picks up on everything, and I think that every little thing matters. So for something like that, I think it's a really big deal who the cover star is, in terms of aesthetic alone and design. But it's not going to stop me from getting the game because we have content to make. I like the trailer. I'll always love the music that FIFA includes. They are like mavericks and trendsetters when it comes to soundtracks. And yeah, I know my brother's already pre-ordered at least 2 copies. So I mean, it's done its job. The trailer didn't do much of anything other than saying new engine, which is at least it looks like it's a promise to the fans saying this is going to be a new experience for the first time in a long time. We have to wait and see if there's going to be more with that or if it's just lip service. But yeah, FIFA is going to chop the top charts. It's going to sell everywhere. It's FIFA. It's a football simulation game. Those games tend to do very well. But I guess what I really wanted to ask you, Isaac, is what would you change about the FIFA franchise if you had the power to make changes for this FIFA 22 game? What changes would you make?
That's a good question. It's hard to say because what you see when you're watching, a Premier League game is what you'll see in FIFA. So on that regard, it's hard to say, what changes you can make. So like, I kind of get why the games are like just tweaked ever so much, like year on year, because what else can you do? So I guess it's just the easy answer. Like, can I have FIFA Street back again? But I say this, would it even do well now though? Because as much as I love FIFA Street, I don't think I'd play it again much. Like I'd rather play like 11-a-side football instead of FIFA Street. Now that I think about it, because like after the Euros, like I'm itching for FIFA a little bit. I want to recreate some of that magic. Do you know what I mean? And FIFA Street just isn't the same. It's not on the same like scale as like you said. Premier League is the most watched football out there. We're not getting like Volta on ITV or like BBC One or Sky Sports One. It's not the same. So what would I change? I don't know, man. All I can say is I don't know. Maybe like tweak the training mode so like it's easier to learn the game. But I think that's already there. I don't use the training mode anymore because put ball in net, like doing it for years. Like I know the drill. It's circle to shoot. This is not pro. Circle to shoot, X to pass. Yeah, these things haven't changed. But yeah, I don't know. What could you change? I think my ramble is gonna have to be my answer. I can't give you anything solid, so I'm a reverse Uno card that question to you. What would you change?
I think you made a good suggestion in bringing back FIFA Street. That's basically the number one suggestion I would make off the top of my head. And if you haven't yet, please make sure to check out our YouTube where Troy has listed what he would change if he had the reins of FIFA. It's a great watch. I highly recommend it. And he said the same thing. He said FIFA Street, bring it back. And we have the same opinion about Volta. It's nice, but it's not Street. It doesn't do the job. I think I've played it once and never touched it again because it plays too much like regular FIFA mode, but in a cage. And that's not what FIFA Street is. It doesn't capture the spirit and the soul of it. I would probably say you don't want FIFA Street as a mode because it's so different mechanically. I think to maximize the potential of a new FIFA Street, I think you release a new game, whether that's a remaster or a remake. I think you make a new FIFA Street and you put that out. And EA has enough money that even if it does fail, it's not going to hurt them. They're not going to run out of money. They're not going to go bankrupt. I think it's just a message that people don't really want FIFA Street as much as they say they do. I think this would be a great litmus test because a lot of consumers say that they know what they want until they're given it and then they don't buy it. So I think FIFA Street would be something that would appease the masses, I would definitely buy it. I would definitely play it. I think FIFA Street is a game that you can get away with not releasing a new version each year as well. So whether you release FIFA Street next year and then FIFA Street 2 in like 2024 or something like that, that's enough time for the game to be fundamentally different. And even if not, people are still talking about FIFA Street now, how many years after the first one? So maybe they would just play that one game for many, many years. That is the biggest change I would do. I would release FIFA Street as its own game. With the regular FIFA, I would change the way free kicks and penalties are taken, because I think they had it down right in the teen years. And for some reason, they changed it in the 20s, and it's just horrible. And it's just too much. FIFA has become really hard for new players to get the hang of, in my opinion. I think it was a lot easier in the previous games because literally anyone could pick it up and play. I think that FIFA needs that magic still because it's by far the most popular sport in the world, and I think the games need to replicate that. I think other changes are just minuscule things here and there. I think they need to do a big thing about the loot boxing because that has been ruled gambling now by the house.
Is that basically Ultimate Team, the loot boxes?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah. The House of Lords has ruled that loot boxes can be classed as gambling. So I hope that FIFA, without having to be told and threatened with fines and stuff, I hope they just overhaul their Ultimate Team system. There's still a way to make it fun and competitive without doing all that. I don't really care for career mode. The Alex Hunter stuff, it never really appealed to me. So that doesn't do anything for me anyway. I don't have anything to say about that. But I can't lie. I do like what they've done with playing cup finals in exhibition mode. I love that. I love season mode. By that I mean you pick a team, you manage them, and you play all their matches. I love that. So yeah, there's quite a lot that FIFA does do right, and we don't say that enough. So I want to say that now. But yeah, FIFA Street is the main thing I'd change, and penalties.
Oh, penalties. That is a touchy subject for the English. But
Woo! But if you are listening or watching this pod, let us know. Hit us up in the comments. What would you change about the FIFA franchise if you had the power? And our final piece of news: The Witcher is back. Season 2 is coming the 17th of December, which is going to be good, I hope. Isaac, we already did a pod about the season 1, so I mean, I think we found it quite good. What are your thoughts on season 2 being announced?
Honestly, I'm excited, and that is it. And this is not me not being enthusiastic. It's just because I think it's going to be good. So because of that, and I know it's coming out, I don't want to think about it. I don't want to watch any theories. I don't want to watch any spoilers. I just want the 17th to come, and then just enjoy it. Like, I treat my games like that. Next God of War's coming out. Next Horizon's coming out. I don't need to know any more about these games. They're insta buys that's happening. So yeah, I'm ready. I'm excited.
Regarding Witcher, I'm very excited. As we talked about, I really enjoyed season 1, and I'm quite excited to see how they build up off of that. I know a lot of people didn't like the way that they went back and forth in time, just telling different stories, but I enjoyed that because I don't know why. I could tell that they weren't talking about all one time. I could tell they were jumping through different time periods, and because of that, I really enjoyed it. But I could see how very easily people could be put off by that because God of War essentially did something similar, and I didn't like that. So it's all in the execution, I think. I'm very excited for season 2 though.
No, I see what you mean. Like, I think I was told before I started watching that this would happen, so I guess it prepped me. But there were still certain things in season 1 that, like, even though I knew you were jumping like back in time, back and forth, like, I think I missed the character's name here or there. So there's always characters just confuse me, like, why are you here? What is your role? But I hope they don't do that again, honestly. Just because I know they have to, though, don't they? They have to continue that because there are different plot lines happening, like, in the past and in the present. So they've got no choice. They have to continue that.
if I was in charge of it, I would continue it. But I have a sneaking suspicion that they're going to drop it because a lot of people complained about it. And I think there was some sort of acknowledgement from the team behind it. I might be making that up, but I seem to remember people acknowledging, okay, people didn't like that. So I think they might work on either phasing that out or making it really, really clear, like
Obvious.
black and white. Yeah, making it really clear when they jump in through time. Either of the two.
I mean, here's the thing, right? When you say a lot of people, like, is it a case where the angriest people have the loudest voices? Because maybe it wasn't a lot of people that were upset. Like, I mean, I didn't really follow it the best, but I still got it, and I really enjoyed the show. And I feel like I'm the average consumer of media on the Netflix, and
The Netflix, the YouTube.
But yeah, like, if it's, here's the thing, right? They did a really good job. And if you've seen season 1, you kind of know the vibes already. Like, this is how it's done. As well as I'd like it for it to just, be very linear. If you handle season 1, then why change it? Here's the thing, right? I'm only changing my tone here because of these people being upset and making the directors change their vision. I don't like that. I've always hated that, and I cannot stand behind that at all. Okay, like, if someone's got a vision for a way a show should be, unless they've done something that's really terrible, I don't know, like against human rights or something, just let them have their vision, because it's probably better than what the fans want. Because before The Witcher came out, people didn't even know they wanted The Witcher. Sales spiked after The Witcher came out. So I don't want to hear any of that. Like, I'm changing my tune because I hate these people trying to change the way the directors are doing it. No, like, if
people,
if the directors want it to be this way, I want it to stay that way as well. Because like, they know what they're doing, and we're just the viewers.
I agree with that. I think you do have to trust the vision with it when it comes to a product that they are creating. I think just because we don't like a certain aspect of it, I don't think we should completely rag on it just because. I do think that we should try to give things a chance. I hope that people don't boycott it or just negatively review it if they keep this storytelling technique in. As I said before, I do think they're going to modify it a little bit. But yeah, I do think we need to trust the people's vision whose job it is to make this a success. Let's trust the vision and let them do what they see fit. If it doesn't work out, then oh well. But I think let's try and hang back on the mentality. Other small pieces of news, we already touched this in the last podcast. Ghost of Tsushima director's cut is coming. I think it's the 17th of July.
Did I write it down? I did not write
No,
it down.
it's the 20th of August.
20th of August, sweet.
20th of August. I'm a bit salty because basically I have to buy the PS4 and the PS5 versions if I want backwards compatible Ghost of Tsushima director's cut, which is annoying. So I probably won't get it.
Wait. But so hold on. Okay, here we go. Because does the PS4 edition not come with the PS5 upgrade?
The answer to that is no. You have to buy the PS5 upgrade to the PS4 purchase.
Is the PS5 upgrade like 10 or 20 quid though? Because it's an upgrade.
Yeah, it's like $10. So I guess it'll be a tenner.
That's not the end of the world for the directors. You get a whole new island. A tenner. That's not bad.
I'll think about it.
It's the whole. It's a come on. It's a tenner.
I'll think about it.
Why are you being salty? Like, if you have to buy.
I am a stubborn old man, and I was raised in the era of games were games. Back when games were games.
Yeah, but like, you're getting brand new content. Like, I don't know why they call it a director's cut when it's clearly DLC, but like,
hey, buzzwords, bro.
DLC,
that's bad. Director's cut, I want that.
Oh, I see what is good marketing. I see what they're
doing.
Oh, fair enough. But a tenner, I think that's all right for a whole new island.
I think it's because the PS4 director's cut is already $20, so like you're gonna have to pay more. I don't know how much that's going to be in pounds. It's probably going to be £30. I'll think about it. I'm not happy about it, but I'll think about it because I do want the Japanese voice syncing more than anything.
Yeah. Wait, question. Because I think I'm getting a PS5 soon than I thought. I hate what Sony's doing. I hate it so much. But do I need to reinsert the disc to be able to get the PS5 version of the PS4 game, even though I've got the save data on my PS4?
I believe the answer is yes. If your PS4 copy is physical, then yes, your disc needs to be in the PS5.
If we weren't doing the record, then it wasn't my laptop on this table. I just frustration. Like what? To be fair, I don't own the game. I should probably have to buy it again or something. That's fair enough. Okay.
And on that note, FIFA is doing dual entitlement once again, but this time you have to get the most expensive version of the PS4 FIFA for it to be playable on the PS5.
That's the 90 quid one, isn't it?
Yep. And I hate that.
What do you even get with the 90 quid version? Like, that's the thing. What do you actually get?
And if I know, I don't know.
Oh, sorry.
I buy the games and I play exhibition mode, and sometimes I do seasons mode with Man United, and that's about it.
Yeah, like
I'm not into Ultimate Team. That's not for me.
That's annoying because, to be fair, they've got crossplay, so get it on one console, keep it moving. I would say you're not going to miss out on anything.
And if the alternative is buying standard PS4 and standard PS5, I guess you just get Ultimate PS4.
You might as well just get a PS5 in that case. I mean, you might as well. I mean, treat yourself because, you're getting a whole new game. You might as well get a whole new console.
Why not?
Yeah, why not? Just treat yourself. That's what I say. Treat yourself. If you're on the cusp of getting the PS5 and you're thinking, just treat yourself. Like, treat yourself.
If FIFA is the reason you're getting the PS5, don't get it.
Or use as a reason to buy the PS5.
Okay, no, I know you're playing me, but no, that doesn't make sense. It doesn't make sense. No, not for FIFA. Not a new console for FIFA. Not for FIFA.
Treat yourself. You'll buy other games. You'll buy other games too. Treat yourself. Why not? Is your PS4 controller on the blink? Might as well just get a new PS5. That is
your control.
Might as well. Just go for it. Treat yourself.
Well, this is why people want to get the Switch OLED, because the Joy-Con drift. Might as well get a new Switch.
No, but that's the exact same issue.
It's the same issue. It is the same issue. My point has been made. Your Honor, I rest my case.
You didn't have to do me like that, Andy.
Ladies and gentlemen, we got him. Thank you so much, everyone who tuned in for this podcast. If you are watching us on YouTube, please give us a thumbs up and subscribe to the Streamcast. Tap the bell so you get notified every time we drop a video. And why not follow us on Twitter and Instagram, Streamcast_. Follow us on Twitch, Streamcast TV. And we are available almost everywhere you can get your podcasts. Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, and many, many more platforms. If we do not currently release our podcasts where you consume them, please let us know and we'll try to fix that. Take care of yourselves and your loved ones. Please stay safe now more so than ever. We'll see you on the next Streamcast.